Welcome to today's webinar to get ready for April's contract campaign actions. This webinar is brought to you by UPS Teamsters United and Teamsters for a Democratic Union. We are a grassroots campaign of Teamster members working together to build union power and win the contract we deserve. We're independent of the IBT, and we are 100% behind our international union's contract campaign at UPS. My name is Antonio Rosario. I'm a local 804 Teamster and elected member of the TDU Steering Committee. We've got amazing speakers today, including our General President, Brother Sean O'Brien. Today, we're going to hear about next steps in the International Union's contract campaign, including parking lot rallies and actions in April. We're going to hear from Teamster leaders, shop stewards, and members about their plan and some of the nuts and bolts of how to organize a parking lot meeting or action at your building. We are going to show you the materials that are available to help organize these actions, from signs to leaflets to banners to ready to strike t-shirts and hoodies. You name it, we got it. We will have Q&A and hear from contract campaign leaders on how they answer members' questions. Today, we are looking for members who want to help organize contract campaign actions and get members involved. This is your chance to end givebacks and win the contract we deserve. At the end of the Zoom, we're going to send to everyone a short online form. Fill it out and we will follow up. Together, we will make sure that UPS delivers for the members. Now, it's my great privilege to introduce our guest speaker. Many of us have campaigned and worked hard to get him elected as our general president. He finished his first year in office just a few days ago. In just 1 year, he has pumped a lot of life back into our union, and we're just getting started. The man who called out greedy CEO, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, not too long ago, our brother, I give you Sean O'Brien.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that kind introduction. I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their busy schedule to get on this call, but this is important. You know, no days off from here on in. National negotiations are going to start on April 17th, and it's game on, and I can't wait to begin this fight. The company is nervous, and they should be. We're not backing down, nor are we going to take concessions. We're going to fight for the strongest UPS contract that our members have ever seen. You know what we're fighting for. Everybody knows the issues. They know part-time wage rates need to be driven up. They know that we need to protect and preserve jobs from being subcontracted. We need to fight against technology, inward-facing cameras. We need to create more full-time inside jobs. We need to eliminate the two-tier wage systems. And the list goes on and on. But more importantly, we need to protect and improve on all the benefits that we've enjoyed. Part-timers in this contract make up 54% of the workforce, and the company's been paying market rate adjustments to people that haven't been there, not rewarding the people that have been there a long time. So we're going to fix that problem. We're going to make sure we fix it right this time. You know, there's tens of thousands of UPS Teamsters out there signing contract unity pledges, and we need more and more unity than ever in this fight. So we need to encourage people to get involved, be engaged, and make certain that when we take this company on, that we are 340,000 deep and ready to fight. And look, a lot of people don't want to get involved until it affects them personally, but I'm taking these negotiations personally. I know our General Secretary Treasurer Fred Zuckerman are taking these negotiations personally, and everybody should. This is clearly an attack on working people, what UPS has done over the last 2 or 3 years, especially through the pandemic. Fred Zuckerman and I have been in office for 1 year and 4 days. We have traveled this country to talk to rank and file members to prepare for these contract negotiations. And why is it important to talk to rank and file members? Because we get true testimonials of what they actually go through every single day. We know the trials and tribulations, but more importantly, management knows we are in these buildings talking to our members, building teams to power, building momentum, creating a more militant union. We've built partnerships, not only with our rank and file members, but we've unified a lot of locals, joint councils, shop stewards, and the rank and file are all coming together. This is going to be a historic fight. It's going to be a fight we are not going to lose. We are going to win. Failure is not an option. I want to thank Teamsters for a Democratic Union and UPS Teamsters United and all of you for being part of this effort. There is nothing that can stop us when we're pulling together in the same direction. Our power in these negotiations come from a united and mobilized membership. More importantly, we've got the intestinal fortitude to take on this company, and we can be the model for every other union throughout the world on what it is and what you gain when you have the support of your rank and file, but more importantly, when you stand up and fight. National negotiations are going to begin on April 17th. Throughout April, UPS Teamsters across the country are going to hold contract actions to show this company we're united and we're willing to fight. We're also starting next Sunday, April 2nd, with a contract rally in Boston. We'll continue throughout the month with rallies and parking lot meetings and other contract actions. Our team at the IBT has done a tremendous job, but more importantly, all of you rank and file members are going to give us the courage and conviction to get this thing done. I'm counting on you to build these contract actions. I'm counting on you to keep momentum going, and I'm counting on you to get our rank and file members more mobilized than they have been ever. The contract expires at midnight, 127 days from now. August 1st is a firm deadline. We will not work one day past July 31st without an agreement. UPS knows the issues. We've been clear. We've stated our intentions all along. We're not hiding. There's no masquerading. We're going to put our members' proposals forward. And the beauty about these negotiations, we are going to have rank and file members sitting at that table across from their greedy employer, and they are going to look our members in the face and tell them why they can't gain the gains that we need. And that's going to be huge power for us. Listen, I can't wait. This is going to be monumental. I'm excited. It's like getting ready to play in a big football game. I put my helmet on, I'm buckling my chin strap, and I'm ready to go. So look, I want to thank everybody for taking the time. I want to thank TDU again, Teamsters United. You've been great partners. We've done great things together, and we're going to continue to do great things together. So with that, I have to run to another meeting, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Sean.
And I was hoping I wasn't on mute.
You were good. Great. And don't threaten me with a good time. I'll definitely be down there for Boston's rally.
All right, my man. I'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Sean. UPS better be ready for us on April 17th because we know Sean will be ready. And we're here to help every Teamster member at UPS get ready. A lot of us are working already to get members involved in the contract campaign. I know many of you, like me, were at the gates last week collecting signatures on the Contract Unity Pledge. Every signature is a message to management that we're uniting on our contract demands. Every pledge card is a chance to talk to a member and get them more informed and involved. So please keep getting signatures on the pledge cards and turn in the signed cards to your local union. If you need more pledge cards, contact your local or contact TDU. We have them. Now, I want to introduce our next speaker. He's coordinating the UPS contract campaign, and he's a good friend of mine from the International Union, who was fired by UPS and rose from the ashes like a phoenix, my brother, Rob Atkinson.
Thank you, Antonio.
You got it, buddy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Atkinson. I'm the UPS contract campaign coordinator. I started working at UPS. I was making sure I wasn't on mute too. It's hard to get off of it. I started working at UPS back in 1988, and I was on the strike line in 1997. And believe me, I've seen and have personally experienced the complete disregard and disrespect that UPS has for us as workers and as human beings. They love to call us essential workers and heroes to the general public, but their actions and the way that they treat us and the harassment that they subject us to on a daily basis proves that they don't truly consider us, that they truly consider us disposable. Now is our opportunity to show UPS that in 2023, we demand better. We demand the respect that we've earned, and we demand the benefits, working conditions, and compensation that we deserve. Like Sean said, contract negotiations start on April 17th. It's game on. We all know what we're fighting for. Make all drivers RPCDs. No more two-tier 22-4s. More new full-time 22-3 jobs. Wage increases. Major raises for part-timers with catch-up increases. Stop company manipulation of MRAs. Protect feeder jobs from subcontracting. Eliminate PVDs. Stop for 6th and 7th day punches. Strengthen the grievance procedure. Stronger 9-5 rates. Stop harassment and inward-facing cameras. MLK Day and Juneteenth as holidays. Increase our pensions and protect our benefits and more. Management needs to see that membership is united to make UPS deliver on these issues, and we won't settle short. On April 2nd, our General President, Sean O'Brien, will be holding a contract kickoff rally in Boston. Throughout the month of April, we are asking Teamsters to hold similar contract actions in your areas in conjunction with your local union. These contract actions show management that we're united on the issues. They are also an opportunity to inform the members and answer their questions. This is really, really important. We've got to be talking to people one-on-one, face-to-face, Teamster to Teamster. The International is sending every local union materials to organize contract actions, including flyers, rally signs, banners, and social media graphics. I encourage everyone on this call to talk to your shop stewards, your BAs, and your local unions, and to make plans for an April contact action where you work. That may be a rally, that may be parking lot meeting, that may be passing out leaflets. No matter what works best for you all in your area, make a plan to reach the members. Part-timers, 22-3s, 22-4s, RPCDs, all of the members. Never forget, we're Teamsters. And when we're all pulling in the same direction, we're an unstoppable force. The materials that I mentioned are on their way to every local union. Use them to build our contract campaign. Together, we will make UPS deliver for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Rob. Appreciate that. Great plan and great materials. Just a reminder, after this call, we're going to send everyone an online link. Use it to let us know how you want us to help you with April contract actions, and we will follow up with you and help you get whatever you need. We also have contract campaign materials available from UPS Teamsters United, including Ready to Strike t-shirts and hoodies and contract banners. You can buy them online at the TDU store at tdu.org or at tdu.org. Or join TDU today and get a free Ready to Strike hoodie or banner. Now we're going to hear from a few Teamsters about organizing parking lot meetings and contract actions. So to get started, I want to introduce my local 804 president and the Eastern Region Package Director and trustee for the IBT, our president, Vinny Perrone.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. I just want to welcome everybody to this call. There's 1.2 thousand people on this call, and that's a really impressive number. I just want to give you a little information here at Local 804. We're holding contract action team training on Sunday, April 16th. The site has yet to be determined because we're looking at the crowd that we're going to get. We're going to have a trained contract action team in every building, and it's going to be responsible for holding regular parking lot meetings and contract actions to keep the members informed and united. And that's sort of what we do on a daily basis here in our local, and it's seeming that it's happening in a lot of other locals also, which is a great thing, because there's nothing that the company hates more than Teamsters, their employees communicating with each other. All right. And that's what we're doing, because I'm finding this out, on a national level. I could pick up the phone and dial somebody on the West Coast, they're answering. And it's really great that we're having this communication from east and west, north and south. It's just a fantastic thing to see. Our contract action teams are going to be trained and ready, and so will our strike captains. All right. We are going to depend on the rank and file, active members, shop stewards to do this. We're going to be clear. The best way to avoid a strike is we have to be prepared for one. That's why we're holding these trainings, and that's why we organize regular contract actions and regular rallies. Here at 804 and in other places, we're getting in the company's face. All right. That's very important. They have to be able to see us. And we have to do this to get the contract that we all deserve. Right. We're going to stay in their face when we get that contract. And I'm hoping that we stay in their face to make them honor that contract. It's imperative during this time, because I'm listening to all the chatter on social media and visiting buildings, my own and in other locals, that we engage our part-timers and our inside people, because they've been beaten up for 20-something years. And you heard the general president speak before, you've heard Fred Zuckerman speak before. We need to have our members, our low-paid members, engaged, and they have to understand that we're doing this for them. That's what this is all about. We have, in my local, we have 17 buildings. Every one of them is going to hold contract actions in April. And again, I have a great group of stewards and activists, and those people are the ones that are going to be engaged and engaging these members. Parking lot meetings, parking lot rallies, sign trucks, blimps, fat cats, everything's going to be going on. Politicians, because we have to engage the communities and our politicians to help us, just like we did in 1997. All right. We're going to be engaging other unions. We already have commitments from other unions in my joint council and in the surrounding area that anything we need, they're going to provide to us. All right. So the outcome of this contract, like Sean said, it's not just going to affect 340,000 Teamsters at UPS. This is the biggest contract in the labor movement, and the outcome is going to affect every union. It's a perfect time right now to get what UPS Teamsters deserve, and the whole country's watching us, whether it's Amazon, FedEx, other locals that aren't in package delivery also, okay? And this is very important, and I'm really asking you guys and girls to do this because you're on this call. I'm seeing this on a national level for the first time in my career because of I was fortunate to be asked to run on a national level, but I see what local union leaders, including myself, are going through with the schedule. I'm hopping on right off this call and I'm going down to Washington for a trustee meeting. I just came back from Washington, drove up to Albany. We're depending on the rank and file, our shop stewards, people on this phone call to actively participate because we're swamped. We're going to get more swamped, but we sure as hell aren't going to show the company that we're swamped. We're going to keep pushing and pushing like we've always done, but we need you guys and girls to help us out on this. This is a pivotal moment for labor in the United States. So with that, I really appreciate everybody being on here. I love you all. And, I'm going to turn it back over to Anthony Rosario. He's doing a lot himself. I appreciate him.
Thank you. Thank you, Vin. Appreciate that. And we appreciate you. It sounds like we're going to have a hell of a time in 804 come April. And I can't wait. And I'm sure many of the other 804 members can't wait. And now, obviously, most of us can't organize things at the scale that Vinny's talking about. Maybe we don't have the capacity or we don't have the membership or the infrastructure, but all of us can do our part. Some of us will pass out contract campaign leaflets and take pictures with signs. For many UPS Teamsters, holding a parking lot meeting is a good action when you want to move things to the next level, but you're not quite ready for a rally. Anthony Taylor, my brother from Chicago Local 705, is going to talk to us about how to do this. Let him know, Ant.
Hi, thank you for having me on here. My name is Anthony Taylor. I'm a proud Teamsters Local 705 member and an elected union steward. So I'm happy to explain some of the things I've learned over the last few years of organizing parking lot meetings. So let's jump right into it. We're going to go over 3 key logistical things. There's no surprises here. Location, date, and time. When you're planning the location, my advice is to pick somewhere with high foot traffic, not truck traffic. That's not safe. Foot traffic. Why? Because you're going to see people that you didn't get a chance to invite before. You're going to see them on their way into or out of work. So it's never too late to invite them. Hopefully they'll join you right then and there. Date, in my opinion, go for something in the middle of the week, Wednesday or Thursday. You want Monday and Tuesday to invite them to the meeting, Tuesday or Wednesday to remind them, and then the meeting on Thursday. And third is time. For drivers, this can be the easiest, usually 30 minutes before start time. For part-timers, this can be very difficult to plan out. So you might have to get creative. It's going to depend on your situation. Next is 3 things to have a useful and engaging meeting. 3 things: prepare, set a simple and flexible agenda, and be yourself. Okay, prepare. This is obvious. Ask questions and listen to your brothers and sisters. What do they need to know? What are their questions? What are their concerns? Next, set that simple agenda. Take what you heard from your brothers and sisters and make sure that your agenda addresses that. Make it a simple and flexible agenda, 3 to 5 bullet points. Introduce the current state of bargaining, go over the top 2 or 3 contract demands, open it up for questions. Don't forget that, very important. Take a group photo and set the time, date, and location for the next meeting. Lastly here is be yourself. Everybody has a different style of speaking, a different style of hosting a meeting. Be yourself, be comfortable, let your speakers be themselves as well. Don't try to force it. Now you've done all this work preparing, You've got to get the word out. In my opinion, it's not a real meeting until you put it on a flyer. Don't overthink the flyer. Don't overdo the flyer. It doesn't have to be color. It doesn't have to be a full page. I always go for quarter sheets, save paper, save ink, black and white, no color, too expensive. Time, date, location, title of the meeting. What are you calling it? You know, contract, kickoff, rally. 2 bullet points explaining what you're going to go over. That's it. Take your scissors, cut it into 4s. You've got yourself a great flyer. That's all you need. Go everywhere you need to go. The gates, the break room, the cafeteria, passing out these flyers. Remember, non-work time, non-work place to protect yourself and the union, okay? Obviously follow up with phone calls and text messages, but do not skip out on the flyer. It's crucial. So now it's the day of the meeting. How do you put yourself in a position to have a great and effective meeting? Obviously, as the main organizer, you want to get there early. Invite some of your friends to get there early with you. Start that circle, start the small talk, start the smiles, start the laughs. Other people will be more likely to join you when they see everybody's having a good time. For these meetings, the topic should probably be National Contract Negotiations Kickoff. So start the meeting off by presenting the union's list of demands. Present what we, the union, want to get out there. We don't always want to go over what the company's trying to take away from us. We don't want to repeat that over and over again. We want to present our side of things. Okay. Again, don't forget to take a picture. Sometimes I used to not bother with pictures, but it's not just for social media. It's just for building memories and for showing the momentum that we're building. Okay, so don't forget to take a group picture at the end. Kind of in summary here, if everyone on this call, there's a lot of people on this call, if everyone could get a parking lot meeting started just once a month from now until contract expiration, we as a movement will be in great shape. So everybody do your best, do your part where you are. And remember, it might be intimidating at first, but everything starts with just one footstep. And right now, as the speakers have said, right now is exactly the time for these kinds of things. So take a small step outside of your comfort zone, do your best to build a more militant union, a more militant rank and file, and we and Sean and the negotiating team will be stronger at the bargaining table. So give all of this your best effort, give it your best Teamster effort. Don't be too hard on yourself if attendance isn't what you wanted it to be, or if the meeting doesn't last as long as you thought it would. Just learn from it, get better the next time, and keep trying. And in summary, in closing, TDU will help you. Fill out that survey that Tony mentioned. TDU will reach out to you, put you in touch with people to answer more questions, and give you materials to help you plan the meeting. So reach out for help. We're here to help you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, appreciate you. Thank you, Anthony. Our brother from 705, man, thanks. Now, let's hear from a few Teamsters about how they're using parking lot meetings to get members involved in the contract campaign. First, we've got Greg Gallegos from Colorado, local 455. Greg, I heard you organized for the very first parking lot meeting. How did you do it, and how did it go?
Yeah, hello, IBT brothers and sisters. I'm Greg Gallegos, steward at local 455 in Denver, Colorado. And how we got it started is, like a lot of you a month ago, workers at our building seemed disengaged and disorganized. But we organized a parking lot meeting with 50 drivers who had little organizing experience, and you can do it as well. How did this happen? Well, one of our drivers in our center, Josh Semin, joined TDU after watching the By the Numbers webinar in February. He was tired of the harassment and forced overtime from UPS and wanted to find out how regular members can get organized. How did we build this? After Josh joined TDU, he had 2 weekly Zoom meetings with 8 drivers and a TDU organizer. We discussed the problems in our building and made plans for a parking lot meeting. First, we made a list of all drivers in our building with their contact information. Second, TDU helped us design a flyer and we passed them out before work. Then we made plans for speeches at the meeting, and TDU sent us printable materials to pass out at the meeting. We also brought refreshments, and members' wife made special pastries for us as well. Finally, we sent confirmation texts to everyone who was interested in attending. Obviously, we ran into some problems. UPS management tried to scare members about attending the meeting. But for the first time, we all stuck together and fought back against management. We have the right to meet in any non-work area at non-work times. The outcome of the meeting, much more energy in the center, people filing their first grievances. We are even planning another meeting in April and every month afterwards. So united, we can be stronger and we can get a better contract. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Next, let's hear from Alano de la Rosa, an inside worker from Des Moines, and as of January 1st, the new president of Teamsters Local 90. Let us go, Alano.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm Alano de la Rosa. And like you said, I was a part-time inside worker at UPS for over 25 years. And now I'm the principal officer at Teamsters Local 90. So far, in the early stages of the UPS contract campaign here at Local 90, we have had a lot of activities at the gates. And for the national negotiations, we're going to be turning it up a notch in April by holding parking lot meetings and a larger parking lot rally with community supporters. The past month, we've been moving the contract unity pledge with the goal of having one-on-one conversations with every UPSer in our local, and that means every shift and every work area. We've assigned captains, divided up work so we can have strong communication. We're hitting the gates first, and then we're following up with our seniority lists to make sure that all members are looped into the contract campaign communications. So far, we've got the vast majority of our UPSers signed on pledge cards, and we've got about even 85% of the preloaders. I know it's going to take all of us standing together to show the company we're united to win. Since Iowa is a right to work state, and I know some of you out there are also in right to work states or right to work for less, we've been using the contract unity pledge to identify and sign up new members into our union. Ultimately, my message to you all today is to reinforce how important it is to build good member-to-member communications. And through that communications, we're going to prepare our members to stick together and win big in August.
Thank you, Alano, for everything you and Local 90 members are doing to turn around that local and turn it up the heat on UPS. Let's have one more example of how to use parking lot meetings. Our brother Justin Allo from San Diego, Local 542. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Justin Allo at Local 542 in San Marcos, California. What started all this is that we were just rank and file members that all came together. And last year was the week of action, and it sparked a lot of interest. And a lot of the members were not informed about this strike coming up, or potentially. You know, nobody really understood the significance of what's at stake. So there's a big age seniority gap between the higher seniority drivers and the lower seniority drivers. And by that, we assembled everybody to come together. We're not meeting in the parking lot. Actually, we're meeting at a coffee shop down the street for members to come in, get information about the contract. And it sparked a movement, sparked a buzz between a cross-generation bridge between the 97 and the 224s, covered drivers, and a lot of the part-timers. That being said, members got involved. It created a buzz and a movement. It's created a lot of more drivers to come in from both centers. And that being said, we call it Unity Breakfast on Fridays, and we labeled ourselves Strike Force. We just wanted to give a platform for our members to be able to come get information and things like that, and reach out to more members. Now we're taking it upon ourselves to host PCMs for ourselves, the 224s, on Saturdays now. Every Friday we're meeting. Every Friday we're meeting at the Hawaiian Deli coffee shop. You know, so and with that, members are getting involved. We're making T-shirts right now. United 97, United Today. People are making stickers. People are donating money for the cause, and now we're going into, we're just trying to bring solidarity. And that being said, dang, sorry about that. We just want to give our members a lot of information going forward for this contract, and we can push up our president and when he goes to the table for those pledge cards. So by any means, that we're trying to just get our members involved and create an opportunity for that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate you, man. This is what UPS Teamsters United and TDU are all about. Getting members involved from the bottom up to build a stronger union and fight for the contract we deserve. If Anthony and Greg and Alano and Justin can do it, you can do it. We could all do it. Sean O'Brien and Rob Atkinson told us at the beginning of the call that the International is asking members, Teamsters, to hold contract actions in April. Here is how you can get started. Contact your local about setting a date and making a plan. Talk to your shop steward or business agent. Every local has signs, leaflets, and materials readily available. You just have to reach out and get them. You can also contact TDU. Everyone on this webinar will receive a text and an email after the call. Click the link and fill out the form. A TDU member or organizer will be in touch to make sure that you have everything you need to get organized. Advice, signs, leaflets, banners, sample talking points, answers to frequently asked questions. Let's face it, if you hold the parking lot meeting, members are going to come with questions. That's why we're going to end today's Zoom just like a parking lot meeting with Q&A. Use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to send in your question. It can be a question you have or a question you get from another member. We've asked some good Teamsters and TDU members who are active in the contract campaign in their locals to show how they field questions by answering some of yours. We've got Nicole Halliday. Nicole joined TDU when she was a part-timer in Sacramento. Today, she's a feeder driver in Stockton, Local 439. Greg Kerwood, Boston Local 25, shop steward and TDU steering committee member. Sean Williams, Local 71, package steward, local union trustee and co-chair of the TDU steering committee. Behind the glass is Scott Jenkins, campaign coordinator for O'Brien Zuckerman campaign and now works as a TDU organizer. Scott, what's our first question?
All right, thanks, Antonio. So a lot of questions in the box today. I think we'll start off with a general one we saw come up. This one's going to go to Sean. What do you say to members who wonder why we would go on strike at all?
Thanks, Scott, for the question. Hello, all you TDU members and our UPS UPS members out there. Why do we go on strike? Just quite simply, a strike is just a stoppage of work so that we can protest work conditions and to gain company concessions. You got to understand that we have been trying to make up lost ground from concessions that we've given in the past, okay? And we want to reverse some decisions that has happened. If UPS just agreed to what we want or what we deserve, then we wouldn't have to go on strike. All our demands that we've given, that the president has articulated to all of us, is very clear. And if UPS want to resolve it quickly, then we wouldn't have to go on strike. But if we do have to go to a strike, it's our last resort. It's our way of us showing our leverage. The company always have leverage on us. They write us up. They do give us what they call write-up papers, letters. They send things home to us. They threaten us. Everyone is accustomed to the methods, procedures that we are infracting on the company with. Well, here's our leverage. These are the things that we want. We want better pay. We want better working conditions. We want to be not forced to work a six punch. Those are the things that we want. We want better retirement. We want better safety precautions within our work centers. Those are the things that we want. And if we don't get it by July 31st, then yeah, we're going to stop work. Because at the end of the day, UPS makes almost $14 billion on each and every one of our backs. $14 billion on your back. And they give us grief day in and day out. So where does it stop? There has to be a stopping point. And if we don't get the contract that we deserve, then the stopping point is a strike. And we're not striking just to be striking. We're striking because UPS refused to do the things necessary to make us right, to make us whole. That's all we want. We're not being greedy. We're not asking for anything that's out of the ordinary. What we're asking for is what we deserve and what we work hard for.
Great answer, Sean. All right, so there's a few questions that have come up. I'm going to put them together about creating unity across divisions. So for the panelists, how do we bring members together when there are so many divisions that are buildings, divisions between full-timers and part-timers, divisions between high seniority and low seniority members? How do we make sure that everybody sticks together and honors the picket line when there are divisions like this at our buildings?
I could take that if you want, Scott.
Nicole's got a.
Oh, Nicole's already got it. She's ahead of me.
Yeah, Nicole Halliday, local 439. I'm a feeder driver at the Lathrop Hub, rank and file. So I think we've gotten used to the company's classifications of us, you know, full-time, part-time, feeder, package. So I think the most important thing is to remember that we are brothers and sisters in this great union. And we need to remember that the job we're doing now, someone before us did it. And let's see here. So somebody that's part-time, they need to know that potentially they could become package or feeders. I think if we remember that we're all struggling the same way, let people know what we have now is what people have fought for in the past. And that we need to stand, and I know as a feeder driver, I need to stand with part-timers to fight for their rights, their pay, because they're our future.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Greg, did you want to add on to that?
I will. I think Brother Atkinson put out a list of issues that we have in the workplace. I see a lot of people asking about a lot of issues in the chat. We're all aware of all the issues, but I think the important part of that is that every member at UPS has an issue on that list, if not several. And we don't get any of those if we don't all stand together. You know, as Nicole just said, we get sort of divided by our job title or classification or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all on one side and the company is on the other. And they couldn't care less what classification anybody is. They still will treat you like dirt and as a disposable employee. So I think the important point is there are tons of issues. Everybody's typing a million issues in the chat. We are aware of all those issues. I believe there have been proposals for just about every issue that I've seen. But the point is that we all have stake in the game here. No one is sitting on the sidelines fighting for something that doesn't concern them. We all have issues to be addressed, and we're gonna win those issues by standing together.
All right, we got a question here from Tony Rossi. The question is, what part of UPS is least capable of continuing without us if a strike were necessary? Any of the panelists want to give this one a shot?
I could take that, Scott. It's a fair question, but I think it's not all that important. The reality is that UPS needs all of us to run their operation. Without the feeder drivers bringing the packages, without the sorters sorting, without the loaders loading, without the drivers delivering, without the clerks, without the air drivers, any of those folks, the operation doesn't run. The pilots are obviously a separate union, but they supported us in '97, and I think we have a fairly confident belief they're going to support us again. Scott is putting up a slide here about the volume. I know a lot of people hear rumors about how we're going to lose business or the other companies are going to pick up the slack. I think this slide illustrates it very clearly. Amazon relies upon us and the Postal Service to deliver a lot of their volume. They can't handle what they ship themselves. And FedEx, obviously from this, you can see would have to more than double their capacity to handle UPS's volume. 20.4 million packages a day are not going to fit in PBDs. They are not going to be delivered by supervisors. They are not going to be picked up by the competition. The work is going to stop. The work is going to sit there, and we are going to hold this company hostage, if you will, until they sit down at the table and bargain in good faith and give us what we deserve.
Thanks, Greg. Sean mentioned earlier that this company is making plenty of money in profits, but a question that we've got in the chat box has to do about layoffs. Layoffs are happening. What do you say to a member who's asking about layoffs happening at their building, volume being down? What do you tell a member who's scared when management is saying that this is because of talk about the contract?
I would say we've been through this before. Those of us that have been around a long time, the company loves to cry poverty in every contract year. They love to argue that things are down or the competition is up, or any excuse as to why they can't pay us what we're worth. They are taking full advantage of what I think is maybe a slight downturn in volume due to the unwinding pandemic. And they're using this as a tool. I don't think there's any question. We all know there's volume there. They don't need to lay everybody off. As you can see from this graphic, they made $13.8 billion last year. They made a similar amount the year before. This is not a situation where a company needs to lay off employees to keep itself profitable. Some of this may be a downturn in volume, but most of this is a means to divide us, trying to pit part-timers being bumped against 22-4s being laid off, 22-4s against full-timers, and to scare the membership into thinking that somehow there will be some unforeseen consequences to their job and their livelihood if we go on strike. It's a tool, it's propaganda, it's not true. You can see from this, their profits are projected to go up well into the future. You could see from the previous slide that was up there that in 97, profits dipped during the strike and immediately bounced back to where they were previously, even slightly higher. So don't believe the hype from management, but do understand that they are doing this intentionally to divide us, and we have to stick together.
All right, switching gears, we've got a few people who have asked this question in the Q&A. And Sean, I know we had talked about this a few weeks ago, actually after the last Zoom call, about the rail strike and the rail contract and what happened there. So could the government step in and stop a strike like they did with freight rail last year? What would the union do in that situation? So Sean, can you tell us?
Sure, Scott, thank you. That's a great question, and the answer is no. The railway unions, so the railroad unions, operate under a totally different set of rules than we do. They're under the Railway Labor Act, or the RLA. Under the RLA, Congress has the power to impose contracts, to pose a contract under any terms or conditions it wants to. Congress does not have that power with us. We're under the NLRA Act, which is the National Labor Relations Act, and Congress has no power with us at all. And then guys, if you can remember, or if you don't, just to revise the history, in 1997, during the 1997 strike, President Clinton was asked to impose a injunction against the strike, and he refused to do so. And one of the main reasons that he refused to do so is because the public supported UPS union workers striking 2-1. And there was no way that President Clinton was going to impose any kind of sanctions or injunctions to defy those polls. And I would go venture out today, if you ask people around the world right now, given that a lot of unions have been striking recently, that we have probably a 5-1, maybe a 6-1, probably a 10-1 support for striking to get livable wages for our colleagues, better working conditions, and so on and so forth. So,
all right. Well, let's hear about, we have a couple practical questions in the chat. I think we should switch gears there now. So one question we've got is about parking lot meetings in April around contract negotiations kickoff. If you're organizing your first parking lot meeting, what's the single most important thing to cover at this meeting?
The single most important thing to cover will be probably everyone will ask about what's going on with the contract. Where are we? I would think the most important thing to cover is remaining unified. What are we doing this for? Past practices. What has happened in the past that got us to this point? Remember, the union helps to create a equal opportunity for each and every worker out there, where it becomes living wages, working conditions, entitlements, etc. And it also helps secure us having workers' rights. So knowing that from the get-go, listen, guys, if we stay together, if we steer the course, if we work hand in hand, if we stay on the same page, on the same line, we will get the results that we deserve. And I think that's the most important thing that we need to talk to our people about right now.
All right, Nicole or Greg, anything to add about topics to cover at your parking lot meeting if you're organizing your first?
I wouldn't say a topic, but I would, if it's your first meeting, my goal would be to establish a forum where people feel like they can come and ask questions and get those questions answered. I think most of us in the workplace sort of are somewhat isolated, don't know who to go to for answers necessarily. And I think part of getting people involved in the contract campaign is giving them a place they can go on a regular basis where they know if they have a question, they can ask it, someone's going to listen and give them the right answer and the right information.
Okay, another practical question. We have a member who wrote in the Q&A, I see little rank and file organizing happening in my building. What do I do? Any tips for getting plugged in to make more rank and file participation happen where I am? So, I mean, you all have been successful with this. What are some tips you have for increasing this at your buildings? Nicole?
Yeah. So I kind of was waiting around as far as the pledge card campaign, what goes. I was kind of waiting around for our leadership to assign people, delegate out, assignments, organize, and it just wasn't happening. So I just took it upon myself. I contacted TDU, worked with my steward. He got some cards and a banner, and we just kind of let our leadership know. So we just took it upon ourselves to just go ahead and move things forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what she's just said, what Nicole just said, is that we have an opportunity, each and every one of us, to do something. We can't wait on either your president, not knocking any presidents, or your local leadership, because this is personal to us as members. So if there's nothing being started, start. You can start with 2 or 3 people. And those 2 or 3 people can get 2 or 3 people, two or three other people to join in. And that's how it grows. Nothing starts big. It always starts small. I mean, my father always said, you grow a flower with one little seed, and then that seed blossoms into something beautiful. So start with that one little seed. You may be that seed to start it, and go ahead and plant yourself in the ground and get things started and watch it grow.
Okay. We got a question here about fear of retaliation for getting involved in contract activities. If we participate in contract actions and activities, will management retaliate against us?
Any of those activities would be protected by law, as long as you're not on the clock or in a work area while others are on the clock. People always say to me, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, because I don't want to have a target on my back. My response to that is, if you work at UPS, you have a target on your back. Let's not pretend that somehow you can stay on the sidelines and put your head down and you will avoid harassment or discipline or anything else. So my attitude to that is, if the company is going to come after you when they feel like it, how they feel like it, whether you like it or not, then the best thing you can do is to meet them head on by holding them accountable and facing up to them every single day.
Nicole, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Oh, he said it great. I was going to say the same thing. You're already got a target on your back. And I think, let him know that they're not alone in that, that everybody's experiencing that. And you just got to get past the fear. Use the process if you are retaliated against, and get past the fear.
All right, we've got time, I think, for just a couple more questions. We have one here. How can we get more members involved in these Zoom meetings and get them active? And I think, Nicole, there's I think a good amount of members from your local that you've gotten involved in these. What's your advice for someone who's getting on this call now and wants to get more members from their local or from their building involved and on the calls?
So as a feeder driver, I'm kind of limited to access to, anybody other than who's working my shift, which is a crazy shift. So what I've been doing is trying to reach out more, saying hi, shaking hands, talking to people, and making that contact. So when they do see me at an event, then they're more apt to come over and find out what I'm doing.
All right, let's take one last question here. It's an evergreen one. It came up on our last call. It came up again here, which is, what do you say to members who are afraid of losing their jobs if we end up going on strike? How do you deal with that fear?
The way that I have dealt with that, at least in the members that I talk to, is to sort of turn that question around and ask them how they feel about their job right now, whether they're content with their pay, content with how they're treated, how they feel about their workplace. And clearly that answer is not going to be positive. And so then the question becomes, well, are you willing to stand up for that? Are you willing to fight for that? Are you willing to put yourself on the line to change your working conditions and improve your working conditions? And if so, I'm right there with you. And so is everybody else around me. Volume wise and that sort of thing, there should be no issue with the company bouncing back. The package world is exploding, going to continue to explode. Anybody who is on strike obviously would be protected from retaliation when the contract is settled. But I think that's a classic company intimidation tactic that really people shouldn't be concerned about. But if they are, we don't want to dismiss it, but we want them to understand that we're all standing together in this.
All right, well, we've got to move on so we can wrap up on the hour and keep everybody moving on in their day. Thank you to our panelists, Nicole Halliday, Stockton Local 439, Sean Williams, Local 71, and Greg Kerwood from Local 25. So if we didn't get to your question, you will get a form, a feedback form, get sent to you as we wrap up the call. Fill that out. There's a space to put your question in. Send us that question. We will talk to experts and we will get back to you with an answer to that. So fill out the form and ask your questions. And with that, I'm going to hand things back over to Antonio to wrap us up.
Thank you so much, Scott. And thank you everyone for making the time today. If you want to win a contract that we deserve, then make this fight your fight. Keep an eye out for the sign-up form and fill it in. It will take you less than 60 seconds. We will go over what you send back, and we will help you get organized and succeed with a contract action in your building. If you like what you saw here today, then TDU is a group for you. TDU is a national network of Teamsters helping Teamsters with information, education, and sharing advice. It's not always easy organizing for change. It can be discouraging. Trust me, I've been there. It can be isolating. I know. With TDU, you're never alone. You're a part of a national grassroots network of Teamsters who are there for each other, fighting alongside one another, shoulder to shoulder. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to thank Sean O'Brien, Rob Atkinson, Vinny Perrone, Anthony Taylor, Greg Gallegos, Alano de la Rosa, Justin Allo, Nicole Halliday, Sean Williams, and Greg Kerwood. And most of all, thank all of you. We know that there's an uphill battle ahead of us, and it's going to take all of us together to take on this corporation. And the whole world is counting on us. We're at a time now where we can really make a difference in the labor movement. We have the potential to have one of the most historic strikes in history if it happens. We don't want it to happen, but it's a possibility if UPS doesn't, take our demands seriously. So to say thank you to everybody, Have a good day, and I hope to see you soon. Stay united, solidarity, and let's get the U back in union.